Okay, folks, 2016 Hyundai Sonata. We're going to go quickly through what you're going to find during an oil change. All right. You're going to crawl underneath this car. You're going to try to jack it up. First thing you're going to find is it's a challenge to jack up. So what I did was I used two jacks, one on each side. I used them in the factory suggested jacking location on the unibody body line. If you have one jack, you may have to do a little bit on each side at a time, and then use a jack stand on each side to sort of go up a little bit at a time to get it up to your comfort level. Make sure you use jack stands underneath the car when you got it to your proper height. Before you crawl underneath it, as a safety measure, do not trust these hydraulic jacks. All right. Next thing you're going to find is you've got this. The whole bottom side, front side of this car is covered with a shield. It's this fibrous plastic. This one you have to take out the entire perimeter of screws on this thing. It has 8 screws, front and back, 4 front and back of this size, this thread pattern, 10 millimeter. There's 8, so there's 4 here, and then up front here, you've also got 4. Okay. Then on the sides, you've got 3 on each side that attach it to the other side shields that are up here on the side. So you'll have to take those 3 out on each side. Those are a coarse thread screw, but still a 10 mil. So I just used an air ratchet and just blasted all those out real quick. On the back side back here, there's just a little hook. So you just kind of pull this thing forward and pop it out of that hook. Then she drops down. Up front here, when you're trying to pull this thing out, you're going to find there's some push pins, plastic push buttons. There's one right here. That one goes up and into this hole here. Just kind of want to separate that. And then there's another one back here, right there. And you're going to have to reach up and over top and carefully pull down to separate that. And then you're going to wiggle this thing carefully out of its position. Get it out of your way. All right, so now you're looking at the bottom of the motor. Oil filter. I've already done this oil change. I just did it. So this is a brand new oil filter. Just make sure that you've got an oil filter that is spec'd for this car. This is a 2-liter 4-cylinder motor, so make sure you clean the gasket surface before you put on the new oil filter, and lubricate your new gasket with some oil. Then try to get 1 full turn after the seal touches. All right. Additionally, here's the oil pan. Here's the oil plug. It's a 17 mil. The book calls for around 30 foot-pounds of torque. I do them by hand. This is a steel oil pan, so it's nice that you don't have to worry so much that you're going to rip out the threads as easily. But still, you got to kind of keep an eye on it. There is an aluminum crush washer in here. I don't replace them every time. I've never had a problem. I can pretty much, as long as you don't destroy them, they will last a long time. But if you're uncomfortable with that, feel free to go buy yourself a new one. All right, so let's move to the top side of the oil change. Okay, dipstick, of course. This is your fill location. I'm using a Fram PH9688, and this car will take about 4.5 quarts, 4.33 according to the book, of motor oil. I'm using 5W30 synthetic, and make sure that you're getting one that matches the specs of the requirements in the book. It says you need a GF4 or higher. This is a GF5, so we are good there. Last and finally, after you put your oil in, I usually put about 4 quarts in. Since it requires over 4, I put 4 in. Then I will start the car to prime the oil filter. Let that run for about 30 seconds to a minute. Then shut it off, wait 5 to 10 minutes for the oil to drain back down to the bottom, and recheck my level. And then top off accordingly. One little hint here is this is a hybrid car, so when you start it, it may not start the engine, which is not pumping oil. So make sure that you may have to touch the gas pedal while you're in there, and it will fire the engine up. Then let it run, like I said, for an additional 30 seconds to a minute to prime that oil filter. Shut it down, wait, and double check your levels. That's it. Thank you, everyone.